Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be going over using Vampire the Masquerade um, CCG 1994 cards for the inspiration of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition player characters. So I just want to show you. So I'm encouraging everybody to get a collection of these cards. Jihad, the game they came from, really failed. It's not played in America almost any anymore. There's not a lot of people searching for these, so they can be gotten in large collections for a little bit of money, $20, $50, $100. And I really think they're fantastic inspiration for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition games. So today, what I want to do is I just kind of go through a few of these cards and build quickly non-player characters out of the ideas that the cards invoke. All right, so here we have Emerson Bridges. So I would call this Emerson. I would make Emerson a 6th level fighter, and I would make his primary motivation to adventure, get gold, and send it back to his family at the village, back to his family in a small village where his brothers and sisters really don't have a lot, right? So that's the image. And also, of course, when I describe Emerson, I can just describe his physical appearance from the physical appearance of the card, right? Which is really kind of, I think, a very unusual way to do it. So here we see this person, right? So let me get the name. I would name this person Lay, Leah, Lay. And I would make Lay a cleric of Pelor, the sun god, right? And when looking at, he has a big, broad smile, and I would make him a very robust converter, right? So he really loves to heal, not just people in his party. Every village he's going to, he's saying, hey, who's sick, who has disease, how can, do you have a hangover? Do you have a hangover? Let me help you, right? And he's just really fun and boisterous, and really not only is he a powerful, hard-hitting cleric, but he's really just a source of joy in the world, right? And so that's Lay. All right. Here we go. So this is Rufina Soledad. So how are we going to build her 5th edition name? I would use Rufina straight up. I think that works really well. And when we look at her, right, one, it seems like she's hiding something. So what I would make Rufina is, one, would I do anything with her heritage? Yes. She comes off to me as an ASMR, so I would make her an ASMR. And for her class, I would fit her specifically to a paladin. So Rufina could be an ASMR paladin, and her motivation could be distinctly to that she is seeking a lost holy symbol from her specific order, right? And she adventures with the idea that she'll encounter this at some time, because she was given a prophecy when she was young that she would be the one to find this lost holy symbol, right? So that's Rufina. And then here we go. All right. This is, so the character name is Violet Prentice. What will we do for that to turn that quickly into a 5th edition name? I think I would go with Iolet. And a lot of times you could just chop off some portion of it. And it's going to be fine to move forward in one of your fantasy games. So when we look at this image, we see Iolet. She's clutching this white tree, right? And her eyes are closed. So I would put her into a village. I would make her a midwife in a village, right? And because her eyes are closed, what I would do is I would bring the player character, I would put Iolet into a village. She's serving the village as a midwife. And basically what I would do is, she has her eyes closed, and Iolet is in love with specifically one of the farmers, right? He's a widower, and they have a growing relationship, and she's really feeling very happy and excited. But the player characters get because her eyes are closed, there's something in the village she's not seeing, and I'll tell you what it is now. The farmer she's in love with is a werewolf. And as the player characters are passing through, they get multiple clues that each month people are disappearing in twos and threes from this village of 200 people. But within the last 4 months, 12 different people have gone missing. And so they get clue. And so while they become friends with Iolet, and Iolet is able to give them some herbs for healing, actually able to give them healing potions just from herbs that she makes, and she's able to tell them where they're going in their next area. She's super helpful to them, fast friends with them right away. But they realize, and maybe they even get these clues after they've left the village, right? That the reality is the farmer that she's growing a relationship with and that she's in love with is a werewolf, and actually needs to be taken down for the safety of the village itself, right? Very, very sad. And here we have Natasha Volchek, right? And what I would use for her 5th edition name is I would use Volsh. So I would just use that section. And who and what is Volched? So Volched, when I look at her the image, right, I'm seeing a middle-aged woman, and she's holding something in her hand, and that is a flower, right? So when we think about the different classes, one of the things that you want to do is you want to mix it up, right? So one of the things is what I get none of from Volch is monk. And so I would make her a monk. And the reason why is sometimes, the information is going to make you go right. But as a good dungeon master, you got to have some unpredictability, and you have to invert at times. So I would invert this. And I would make her into a 7th level monk, right? And when she comes across the player characters, I would have her as a rescuer. So basically, sometimes the player characters get in over their head. You don't want to do this too often. I think you can do this once in a campaign, but you can have NPCs come in and assist player characters if they get in too far over their head. You have to be very, very careful with this. So I would have Volch come in and rescue the player characters if they had gone into a goblin warren, right? Volch comes across, goes into the goblin warren, and actually helps them, and it actually helps them come out of the goblin warren, and the goblin warren I would keep intact, and just Volch just comes along. And the only reason Volch went down there was that one of the villagers had said that some of their gold, all their gold from their recent harvest had been stolen by monks, and Volch was going down to get that gold back and return it to the villagers. But instead, Volch is really integral in saving them. So those are just some ideas for non-player characters that I came across using these Vampire the Masquerade 1994 CCG cards. Thank you very much for letting me share this with you today. Was there any ideas that I missed? When you look at these cards, do you see any different ideas that I didn't? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, are there any collectible card games that you use for inspirations for your games? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.